Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Six Figure Freedom Podcast with Waylon Chavez. I want to welcome you to episode number 3, and I want to thank you for joining me for another week. And as we get this YouTube channel and this podcast off the ground, where I deliver weekly content to help salespeople, realtors, and entrepreneurs and people with a dream scale their business to 6 figures so they can have the freedom that they desire. So in today's episode, what I want to go over is lack of housing inventory. It's a big hot thing right now. The market's doing great. And I hear a lot of people saying, I have buyers, but there's not enough homes on the market. There's not enough homes in the market. So I wanted to approach it in a different perspective today to share with you there's an opportunity in every situation. And the title of this message today is called Lack of Housing Inventory, Adversity or Opportunity. And I'm going to share with you how you can turn this into an opportunity to actually even scale your own business. But we have to look at things differently. So many times we're like, well, I have a buyer's agent. I'll just wait for, or I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer's agent. I'll just wait for the house to come on the market. But for me, I've always looked at things for an opportunity. There's a quote out there that says, once you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. So that's a perfect example of what we can do now in today's market. So I hear, like I said, so many real estate agents are saying there's lack of inventory right now. I can't find a home for my buyer. Well, I'm going to go through a few tips today. I'm going to give you 3 ways to turn that adversity into an opportunity, not only for your clients, but for your pocketbook. So before we get started, I wanted to share just one stat with you that I found kind of interesting. So just 1.4 million homes were on the market at the end of January, down by 26% from 1 year ago. The figure is the lowest on record since 1982, the Wall Street Journal reported. So that's huge, and that's across the US. This is US numbers, but 1.4 million homes on the market at the end of January. That's a 20% decrease within 1 year. But then the National Association of Realtors has reported that there's 1.45 million members that are members of the National Association of Realtors, which is up 4.8%. So, there's more realtors than there is homes in the market, and there's more buyers than there is homes in the market. So what I want to do today is I want to give you 3 ways you as a real estate professional can turn this adversity, this quote unquote adversity, into an opportunity for not only yourself, but for your clients as well, and your pocketbook. So number 1, the first tip I want to share with you is hit the streets. So many times we wait for others to list a home or wait for somebody to, we're passive. We're very passive. We're not proactive. And I encourage you to turn from being passive to proactive, because it's not only going to benefit your clients, it's going to benefit you and your pocketbook, like I said. So number 1 is hit the streets. And I've done this personally. So this is why it's so important. And I'm so passionate about this one. So many times in my career, I've had a buyer. And even before this has been years ago, I've done this. And my buyer wanted a home in a certain neighborhood. They loved it, but guess what? There was not a home on the market that matched their needs. So what did I do? I didn't sit back passively and say, well, when something comes up, I have you on an automatic search. When something pops up, you'll get an automatic email and we can go take a look at the home. No, what I did, because in real estate and sales in general and entrepreneurship, you don't get paid unless you make that sale or unless you serve that customer. So what I did was be proactive about that. I hit the streets. And what you could do is you have your clients' criteria. You can pull homes in that area that fit the same criteria, and you can door knock, in the neighborhoods that your buyers love. And that's exactly what I did. What you can do is you can make flyers, postcards, and they can be as simple as just say, hey, I am an approved buyer for your home. I don't know if you're interested in selling, but I would love to have a conversation. And the good thing about that is you're out there, people are seeing you, you're out in the community, you're being proactive, people are hearing and seeing your name on your flyers, your postcards. But the thing is, you're making an impression on your customer or client who that buyer is. So what I've done is, for instance, one of my buyers, she loved a certain neighborhood of this certain area. It was close to her work, close to her studio where she did some stuff after work on her side business. So it was a perfect area for her, and there was no homes available. There was nothing coming in the market. So what I did is I worked up a flyer and I went out one afternoon and knocked for about 3 hours and just talked to neighbors, talked to community members, homeowners, and whoever was there. And, you know, I let them know I have an approved buyer ready to go for this neighborhood. Have you considered selling? A lot of people said no. A lot of doors weren't answered, but a few people did say yes. So I was able to bring my buyer into their homes, and most of the time it didn't fit her needs. But guess what? That one did, and it turned into an opportunity because for both. Because my buyer was looking for a home in that neighborhood, and two, the seller was given the opportunity to move forward with their real estate goals. They just hadn't made the time to reach out to an agent yet, or get forward in that goals. And sometimes they just need a little nudging to get them to move forward with their real estate goals. The second tip is look up expired and cancel listings in the same neighborhood. So there's a few tips here that I want to share with you. This is a huge opportunity. And I know a lot of people have said, well, yeah, that's just a normal thing that you do for lead generation. But that being said, there's a specific way you want to do it here to be proactive and search for your buyers. So number one, you want to pull the expired and cancel listings in the same neighborhoods for the last 4 years that meet your client's needs. And why do I want to go back 4 years? Well, because if you just go back 6 months or a year, there's probably relisted and sold right now. And what you want to do is you want to get that list. You want to write down the MLS number and the address of all those expired and canceled listings within the past 4 years that meet your client's criteria. Then you're going to run those numbers through your MLS and make sure they have not been relisted or sold. That way you're not approaching people and thinking it's been expired or canceled, but in all actuality, they've been relisted or sold. So you always want to do your due diligence, run those numbers, those MLS numbers and those addresses through MLS to make sure they haven't been relisted or sold. And I don't know what type of MLS you use, but here in my local market, what we use is you can go through, you can put an address in and it'll pull it up if it's ever been on MLS. And there's a button where you can hit history and it'll tell you all the times it's been listed, sold, canceled, pending, expired, or withdrawn. So that's a very easy thing to do. It's not very hard, but you want to do that to make sure that it hasn't been relisted or sold and you're going out to approach the right people. Then you want to target the remaining list and visit each one personally. And why do I say that? Because now, more than ever, listing agents are not putting their buyer or their seller's information in the MLS to call and schedule appointments. You know, a few years ago, we used to be able to go in, we used to have to call and schedule appointments with sellers ourselves. Now with tools such as Showing Time and the like, we don't have to do that anymore. We just set it up through an online portal. So there's no more seller information on that MLS sheet. So what I encourage you to do is make a packet, use the same postcard or flyer that you're using to door knock, and go out and visit each one of these expired listings. And what you're going to do is you're going to go up, you're going to knock on the door, introduce yourself and let them know you have an approved buyer for the neighborhood. You notice their home was listed for sale a few years ago, but unsuccessfully didn't sell. And now if they are still looking to make that move, you do have an approved buyer for them. One, it might get them excited again about selling. They might still have that dream of moving somewhere, upgrading, downgrading, whatever that may be, different area, and they just needed that nudge. And you showing up to their door is going to put them over that edge and you know, get them thinking about that again. So these are great tools that you can do that are going to make you stand out, make you stand apart from the other agents, but it's also going to create trust with your customers and clients. And the last tip I want to share with you on as far as what to do and who to look for, when you're out in those neighborhoods, you want to look for sale by owners. You're door knocking, you're driving the neighborhood, and you're being visible in that neighborhood. So you want to door knock, you want to go out and visit these for sale by owners, because they're just begging for somebody to come in and help them, you know. And most of the time they just want to save the commission, but in all actuality, they actually earn more and more of their bottom line, even with paying a realtor commission, because we have more access and we are the professionals. But they have not seen the value in the real estate agent because they look at us as a commodity. And as all the same, that we just put a sign in a yard and we put on MLS and wait for somebody to sell it. So what I encourage you to do is go approach them, write their address down, and then when you're walking and door knocking, be on the lookout for sales by owners. And this is not only when you're doing this. When you're driving home, take a different route home from work. When you're out with your kids, when you're whatever it is you're doing, you always want to be on the lookout for sale by owners. What I do with myself and my son, if he's riding with me, what we do is we're driving up a road and it's a residential area, or it's a main road and there's residential on either side. We're both looking on each side to see if he's seeing any of those red and white signs. And once we do, the next chance I get, I'm turning around, going back to that house and introducing myself and leaving something of value. So this is not only for this particular training, but do it all the time. That should just be an automatic habit. And let them know you have an approved buyer that is looking in the neighborhood. Again, you're going to follow the same process for all these. And the thing about being successful in real estate and business in general is the systems and rituals that you have. So many times people are not successful because they're looking for the next best thing, the next golden nugget, the next thing that's going to give them a bunch of leads with the least amount of work. Well, that's all fantasy. That doesn't happen. If you want to be successful, you have to put systems and rituals in place that are going to be predictable, that are going to be repeated day in and day out. And as far as the physicals, ask them where they're moving and if they are working with a real estate agent on the purchase of their new home. Now, why would you do this? Most agents that call for sale by owners go for the kill right away. And what that means is it's very unprofessional. All you want to do is you want the listing. You are thinking about yourself and not about them. And instead of serving them and helping them, the reason why you want to ask where they're moving and if they're working with an agent is because you can tell them, I know you want to save on the commission. I know you're looking for another house. If you're selling this one, you're going to need a place to live. Are you working with an agent? The reason you ask that is because then you bring value to them and say, well, I know you want to save on the commission. And as a buyer's agent, the seller will pay my commission. Can I help you look for a home that you're going to move to? And that starts building rapport. You don't go in and ask for the listing right away. You build value, you build a rapport, you show them what you're going to do for them and that you're there to serve them and not that you just want that commission check. And then if they're not working with an agent, that's a huge opportunity because you can be that agent, you can help them find a new home and also bring in your buyer to preview their home. And then ask them, can I show my buyer your home? And if so, ask if they're willing to pay you a commission and always get a compensation to broker agreement before you do that. But guess what? Going through all this list, you might show these houses and you might they might not fit your buyer, but there's a huge opportunity here. And what that is, and what I want to share with you is to show you how simple it is to scale to 6 figures or more, but we have to actually put in the work. But by doing this little trick here and looking at the lack of inventory as an opportunity rather than adversity and just waiting for a home to come on the market, putting your buyers on the back burner, what happens when you do that is they lose interest, they feel defeated, they think they're not going to get a home, and then they're going to stop calling you, stop returning your calls, and they just may stay renting. But if you do this, it shows them you're being proactive, you have their best interest in mind, and you want to get them into their new home. So it keeps them excited and searching and anticipation of the process. So the huge opportunity is, number one, you are being proactive and going out to work in your client's best interest, and they will remember that. So think of referrals. If you tell your clients, look, there's no homes in the market, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit the streets. I'm going to make up a flyer or a postcard saying my buyer's needs, letting the people know I have a buyer that's interested in the area. I'm going to look up expired and cancel listings. I'm going to go visit each one of them that has not been listed and resold. Then I'm going to also look for sale by owners in the neighborhood that I can approach and let them know that I have an approved buyer. That is just going to blow their mind because you're going above and beyond their expectations and you have their best interests at heart. So what are they going to do when they go to work? When they're around their family and friends and activities, they're going to mention that, hey, they're going to get asked, how's the house hunting going? I heard there's no homes in the market. Well, yeah, that's true. But guess what? My agent is out there walking and knocking doors and being proactive and searching for a home for us. They're not just waiting. And that's going to impress the people that they're talking to. And in turn, that's probably going to generate you more referrals. So just by doing your job, and not waiting for others to list homes and come out to, have more inventory. You're going to generate more business. You're going to put the wow factor on your customers and clients. Number two, you are talking to potential motivated sellers. And even if that home does not work for your current clients, you may get the listing, which means more money for you and more business for you and more money in your pocket. So think about that. You're out there generating more money, more profit for you and more listings, and you're bringing more listings to the market, which they may not work for your buyer, but I guarantee you there's an agent out there that has a buyer that's perfect for that home. And number three, you're making an impression on the homeowners that the doors you're knocking on, even if they do not list with you or want to sell, but because they see you hitting the streets and the pavement, working hard for your clients. So when they want to sell or invest, they will remember who made that impression on them. Remember, you're going to be leaving something of value with them, a postcard, a flyer, and then they're going to remember that person that came and knocked on their door, working in their buyer's best interest. That's proactive. That's not just waiting for their phone to ring. That sends out maybe a little calendar once a year and hopes for the best. You're actually being proactive. You're being responsible with your career, and you're putting your client's best interest first. You're not leaving it to chance. And the last thing I want to share with you is a bonus tip. The last thing is an amazing bonus tip. So think about this. Everyone that you talk to and make a connection with, add to your sphere of influence or your CRM, and then follow up with a handwritten note card and add them to your monthly email or marketing plan. Because guess what? That's just growing your sphere. That's just growing your contact list. They've seen you. You've handed something to them. And then if you follow up with a handwritten card, you're just going to really shock and awe them, because that's not what people are used to these days. They're not used to people following up, following through, and keeping in contact. So what you're going to do then is add them to your sphere of influence, whatever CRM you use. It could be Realty Juggler, Follow Up Boss, KV Core, whatever that is. And you're going to keep in contact with them and put them on your monthly email or your marketing list. And from that point forward, you are going to inherit those people as your customers and clients and generate referrals from them from a long time to come and generate their business. So, today was a great episode, and I really enjoyed, because if we can look at things as a opportunity over an adversity, we can generate tons and tons of business. But so many times we look at it as we're defeated. Well, there's nothing on the market. I'll just wait till something hits the market. Well, you know what? Be that professional, be that proactive person that goes out there and provides for not only your family, but most importantly for your customer and client, that's going to help scale your business over the years. Because, we know referrals are the number one business thing in real estate, and in sales in general. A referral is worth gold. So if you're out there and you're promoting that and you're being proactive to work in your client's best interest, you're going to double benefit. Like I said, you're going to get these listings, you're going to get these people to put in your CRM, you're going to get new clients eventually, but you're going to make an impression on not only your clients, but on those homeowners that you're out there knocking doors. And the other thing is, it also gives you experience. It removes that fear of having to talk to people and having to go out there and knock on doors and use a quote unquote script. I'm not a real big believer in scripts. I'm a big believer in conversation. Scripts for me are fake. They're not authentic. Yes, I think you do need a conversation starter, like, hey, this is Waylon Chavez with ABQ Premier Properties. I just want to, I just want to take a few minutes of your time. I just want to let you know I have an approved buyer for your neighborhood. There are not enough homes on the market that are providing that are meeting my buyer's criteria. So I'm out here just wanting to see if you may be interested in selling your home. And that's it. And it's a conversation starter. Remember, you can't sell anything to anybody that doesn't want to buy. So don't stop trying to sell or pitch. Go out there, make connections, bring value to people, and serve. Again, this is Waylon Chavez with the Six Figure Freedom Podcast. And that being said, what I want to do, expanding on this lead generation subject, is I want to invite you to a free live online training that I'm hosting on March 1st. at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can click the link below this video on YouTube, or if you're listening on the podcast, you can go to waylonchavez.com and find that link and sign up for that free online training. It's valued at $697, but I'm doing it this one time for free. I'm going to give you 10 profitable lead generation strategies that will not break your bank, that you can implement ASAP into your business to generate massive amounts of business, and that will help you scale to that 6 figures. Again, I'm Waylon Chavez. Thank you so much for joining. And you can find me at waylonchavez.com and Waylon Chavez USA on all social media platforms. Thank you so much.